All right. It's time for another weekly podcast of Go Bold or Go Home. Got Craig / Stephen over there. Got me, Nolan. I don't have any fancy other names. So,
Hey,
Jolin. Jolin, yes, I do.
where's the Red Bull at?
Nah.
Did they drop you after 1 week?
Yeah, maybe. The Red Bull, they dropped me. Yeah, today it is Body Armor is our unofficial sponsor.
Oh, okay.
Hydrate, Red
Good
Bull.
thing they have Thursday night football because they had Sunday. If we had to start the Sunday morning football game in London, you might be sponsored by Pedialyte. So
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you never know. Red Bull could see this video and be like, "Hey, we're jealous," and then next week I have a Red Bull. So it's just going to be whatever it is. So all right, we'll start off with the best team left in the first matchup we'll review, which is my Aaron Hernandez pistol offense going up against Aaron's high fashion like Goddard.
let's go there. It's classy French,
Yeah, I will say ESPN, it's got it close, but it has me still edging it. So that makes me feel a little relieved.
They added a win possibility percentage in there now.
Yeah.
It'd be all statistical. Well, there's about a 42.7 chance that he pulls off.
Yeah, they're saying a 55% probability of winning.
Yeah, I guess they don't calculate for what stupid moves people are going to do on the bench or in free agency. But
hey, no, I don't do anything.
Yeah, you were the guy that picked up Alex Smith and dropped Ryan Tannehill, but your lineup seems pretty set. His does too. I'm pretty confident that whatever prediction that this is going to be a prediction we do, and the lineups aren't really going to change that much.
Well, I will say here's some insider information that got leaked from Aaron Hernandez's pistol offense. Insiders have informed me that the defense will be changing as the Giants defense is being picked up.
Oh, well, now I got time to stop you.
Remember, I never spent money in the free agency, so I put some big money.
You put an undisclosed amount, and whatever someone else is going to put in, you put in more. So
I'm like Jerry Jones. I write a blank check for my defense, but not for my offense.
Well, whatever blank check. Okay, back to the matchup.
Yes. So what are you thinking? Yeah, I'm a little biased, obviously. So we'll start with you.
I guess we'll start with your team here. I mean, A-Rod is A-Rod. I mean, you got Derrick Henry. You had an off week last week, so you must have liked that.
Yeah, I'm glad you got that out last week.
Aaron Jones kind of confuses me, man. He sometimes has this love affair of Aaron Jones, and he racks it up, and sometimes Jamal Williams is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's got to make you feel a little iffy on the playoff stretch, knowing that they might try to work him in more.
It really did. That's the reason I was going with the 4 running back system most of the season. But I feel at this point with the Packers schedule, they're just going to have to pound the rock because they're going to try and just coast to the playoffs at this point.
And it is Detroit, so it's going to be pretty easy sledding once he gets going.
Once they get ahead, Aaron Jones will get me my points.
You might only need a few plays to get you those points as well.
True.
You got the best tight end depth in the league. We were talking about that the other day, how the Ingram trade really didn't work in my favor here.
No, it did not. You got Devontae, who was out after a week.
Yeah, the Freeman trade didn't work out, but then hello, Charlie. So there's that, and then you also got the biggest benefactor of my team's downfall, Kenny G's injury. You got T.J. Hawkinson in there. He's done a nice job since.
He's been solid all season long. He's average. He's consistent. He doesn't put up big numbers, but he gets 8 or 9 points every week.
Well, he wasn't really getting the volume before, but he was getting in the end zone. Now he gets the volume, and he might still get in the end zone. It is the Lions still, so
yes.
But so that's kind of what it is. Mostert, a little discouraged. I own him in another league. A little discouraged about the usage last week, but game script wasn't exactly what you wanted. Hopefully, you can get out there and get you a better week this week. I think your bench is definitely stronger than your opponent's bench, but it doesn't look like either of you are going to need it.
Yeah, I think at this point it's just starters as long as everyone's healthy. So fingers crossed on that. You never know in COVID. So yeah, I definitely obviously like my team's odds. I think the only thing, like you said, concerned was is Aaron Jones really in Mostert. Like if those two perform like they've been performing all season when they have their highs, where they're getting like 15, 20 points, I think it's in the bag. But again, it's Aaron's team, which we already knew going in the season was going to be one of the top teams to beat.
Yep, and he was rated the top team going out of the draft. Everyone was like, I don't understand how that was. I knew how. I was like, yeah, Aaron drafted good. But anyway, now I guess that's a good segue into Aaron's team here. I mean,
the master of the segue.
Maybe gave up a little much there, but you can't fault it if it gets you to ship. So he's got that now. Doesn't have to worry about the Derek Carr, Cam Newton crap. That's good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke's popped up on the injury report. Don't think you really got to worry about that, though.
I mean, honestly, Zeke's been missing most of the season, even when he is on the field. So
it's kind of like he's not there anyway. But no, they got this week. They got Cincy. That's gonna be. I think that's gonna be a close game. It's gonna call for a lot more ball running, if you will. So hopefully he can. Not hopefully for you, but probably get about where he's at. Melvin Gordon looked good last week. Maybe he can continue actually justifying his super high price tag. Who knows? He's got Devontae and Travis Kelce, which have really got him here. But what could really hurt you, and why I'm almost saying that Aaron might just do this, is that he's got Antonio Gibson is hopping up on the injury report, which means all that pass volume could be going to J.D. McKissic.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm concerned about this matchup this week, because Aaron has got a loaded team, and I think that. And then here's the crazy thing: if Aaron Rodgers gets me points, it's most likely going to also be hurting me, because Devontae Adams will be catching 90% of his throws.
Pass touchdown, yes, except that actually cost me more, so I'm not happy.
And receivers get more points than quarterbacks for yards. So
and the touchdown, the quarterback I think gets 4 points for a touchdown pass, and then the wide receiver gets 6 for the catch.
They did no love to the quarterbacks in fantasy football. What a shame.
Yeah, I know. But as far as it's going to be a close one, I think. But let me scroll over. It's a 45-55 shot. Who you got? You picking yourself?
I'm going to pick myself. I'm confident my boys. We made it this far. We're going to take the chip this year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think both these semis are closer than. We got a lot of close games this week, actually.
Oh yeah, it's going to be.
Yeah. So we could look. This could be the 0 for 6 week that we've been waiting for, but I do think you're gonna get it. I want to say that he's gonna make you sweat quite a bit, because I think J.D. McKissic is gonna be kind of his X factor. Not that I said that he's gonna go out and lay an egg, but I think he's gonna make you sweat quite a bit. But I think you got it.
I think it's going to come down to that Sunday night game between Buffalo and Pittsburgh, with Diggs going against the Steelers defense, honestly.
Yeah.
That's the latest we both have someone playing, and I think it'll come down to that.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, next we have the team that actually scares me the most in this playoff, which is Hayden's OBJ likes getting shat on. And then we have James Bodacious Bunchmeiser.
Well, it's not the first place team that scares you the most. At 9-3.
You know, here's the thing. James went on a hot streak of late, but the reason I'm scared more of Hayden than James is because his team can explode out of nowhere. Like when I lost to Hayden during the regular season, it was when he put up 150 points just out of nowhere, because that was the week Tyreek had the 50-point game, and then Ronald Jones had a solid game, and Dalvin Cook always has a solid game. So that's what scares me is the guys on his team, they either hit big and put up a ton of points, or in his losses that you can see, it's when his team underperforms drastically.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's definitely true.
Yes, that scares me. But then again, he also has to put a defense in. But I would assume he would start the Ravens defense. But again, he might make a strong move. Who knows?
Could he also be doing the Giants defense?
If he steals the Giants defense from me, it'll be more anger than fear. So
you wouldn't have to worry about that if we fix the waivers. More on that.
Yeah, definitely. But I feel confident I'm going to get the Giants defense because I don't think anyone's looking at them.
No,
so until they watch this video.
I think Aaron might just go scoop him up in spite. That'd actually not be a bad move. But back to the matchup. Which one do you want to start with? James's team or Hayden's team?
I'm starting with Hayden. So I feel the interesting part is, like I said, his team is like, because there are weeks where Tyreek Hill is the focal point of Kansas City, and he'll score 20 points easy. But there's also weeks where they'll just be like, all right, we're going to focus on the run this week, and they're going to just do a bunch of short passing and runs. And then they could also just be a big Travis Kelce week like they did last week. It was like all Travis versus the Broncos. So it's really iffy on a lot of his players. Same with Ronald Jones. You don't know if Fournette's going to dominate or Jones will dominate, but one of them will be the point getter. And that's why his team scares me. It's like, I can't predict them.
Well, and then it's like as much as you're saying like they're difficult to predict, they also have a pretty safe floor too. It's not like they're just Tyler Lockett getting the 3 or the 30.
It's like they'll get a 10 or they'll get a 30.
So that's how it's gonna be. It's a pretty, even on their bad weeks, they're still putting up more points than most teams. Ronald Jones, I give him so much crap for Ronald Jones being his RB2 all season, but he's not just getting away with it. It's working big time for him right now.
Mm-hmm.
How it's been that way. He's actually running back 11 on the season, mostly I would imagine because of injuries. But that's a low end RB1, high end RB2 if you look at it that way, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Especially when everyone slept on him when Fournette got signed. So
nobody wanted anything to do with that.
Yeah.
Except for Hayden with his love affair.
Now the interesting matchup though is Dalvin Cook will be playing Ronald Jones in the Bucs, and Cook, he's struggled in the last few games. Like struggle for Cook's numbers, not struggle for a typical running back, but he hasn't had his monster game. And Vikings have had to kind of go through the air. They almost lost to Jacksonville, so that's something to keep an eye on, definitely.
Yeah, it's either going to be, I think with both these teams, you're getting an air it out or run it out game. And I think that's how it's going to be. That at some point, Tampa Bay is going to it's either going to be both teams are slinging it everywhere. Tom Brady, Kirk Cousins having a good day, or it's going to be those two that have a good day. And you hope it's the first, or I guess it doesn't matter for you. James, it's going to be the throw around because they both don't really get too crazy numbers in the past. They're not like your Alvin Kamara's or where that's
definitely
volume.
Yeah, definitely looking at James' team, I feel like he has the best chance to beat on Hayden just because his team is like the opposite. It's not very, high or low. It's just a consistent, we put up about 100 points, beat us or not.
Yeah, they don't really put up huge points every week, but they don't have those lows of like my team just going and putting like 56 or whatever. They don't do that. It's a pretty go there. Now he's got Thomas in there. I bet James wishes this matchup was last week, though. I mean, looking at that, he's got Josh.
Oh, yeah. He's got tough matchups.
Montgomery. Yeah, he probably wishes this was last week.
Yeah, we got Josh Allen versus the Pittsburgh defense, which we don't need to go into how good that is. But he does have some skill players going on weak teams. Like you got Julio Jones. If he can show up healthy against the Chargers team that seems to be in a spiral right now, and the Chargers defense that gave up, 30-something points to New England, 40? It was ugly last week.
Yeah. The big one for me is probably David Montgomery chilling against the Houston defense. That's a pretty good matchup. And with Mitch Magic, he's looking better. So
Mitch Magic. I told you should have gone with it last week.
Well, it would have been better than what I had, but I think just about anything was better than Justin Herbert against the Belichick defense.
Yeah, Belichick. He gets all the rookies.
I was kind of too far in. But anyway, yeah, I think this one's going to be close. I think Hayden's got too much depth to not win this. I think that if Antonio Gibson plays and is not limited at all, I think James is going to win. But otherwise, I don't think Hines is going to get that same point total that he would have gotten, and it's going to be just enough to narrowly lose out. So
yeah, I agree with that. And I would also say, if Hayden remembers to start the Ravens defense, I think it's his game to lose for sure.
Or the Cowboys defense.
Hey, as someone who stuck with the Cowboys defense because of his fandom for 8 weeks and kept getting negative points from them, just don't do it. I'm not trying to help the competition. I'm just trying to save your soul.
Don't get cute fit.
Yeah, so definitely Hayden. All right. Now we move on to the third place match, or what is this? No, fifth place matchup. I have to do math. So rolling with Mahomes versus Wentz the Galladay Inn.
Okay, where do we start?
Well, I guess we've already been teasing it, so we'll start with you and your Wentz the Galladay Inn. And yeah, last week I was deadly wrong on the prediction because Herbert just got shut down.
I don't think you could have predicted what happened to my team. I mean, A.J. Brown, he still had a pretty decent day, but I guess you could predict Jordan Akins going out and doing nothing. You made fun of me for my bold waiver wire.
I did tease you on that one, but
Justin Herbert just getting completely obliterated in that game. Didn't see coming. Did not see Terry McLaurin getting completely shielded out in Pittsburgh. Thought he could at least get a consistent 9-10 points of what he's been doing all season. And then Parker getting ejected didn't help either. And then the topic of the day, WTF Miles Sanders.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, Philadelphia, it's crazy because the team did better because they put Hurts in. But putting Hurts in just, he got all the running.
I feel like Miles Sanders owners everywhere are just universally giving the Eagles coach a middle finger because for some reason it makes sense to get Boston's
Peterson will not give him
in the game plan. Like, how are they at all? How is Jordan Howard in the game plan? He literally got cut by the Dolphins.
Which is crazy because Sanders is averaging 5 or 6 yards a carry, and he only gets 10 carries. So it's
last week he had 31 yards or something. So it's like a poultry 3 yards a carry, which is not good by any stretch of imagination. But I mean, you can only run so much when it's 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. So he hasn't been getting the opportunities because Wentz is too busy trying to play hero ball and not get first downs.
Which it'll be interesting this week because they're going to have Hurts starting. So
if you had Miles Sanders, where would you go with this? Where would you line him up?
I think on your team, I would keep Miles Sanders on the bench this week, especially against New Orleans.
Yeah, see, he's already on my bench. I got him on the bench right now. Swift is in at running back. I also got Devontae Booker, which I think is not normally something that you would consider putting Booker in over Sanders. But
Josh Jacobs is injured, so could be.
I think until the Eagles kind of sort this out, Sanders is kind of like on a good matchup basis. And of course you say that, but then he gets the Packers and doesn't do anything. But
you'll have to – it definitely is. So right now I think you're just stuck with the in Swift we trust. So that's going to be a key thing for you is if Swift can get healthy and actually dominate like everyone believes he should.
Yeah, no, my season is over. It's gonna be very interesting to see how my three keepers work out here because I got a few guys that I'm eyeing. Obviously, with him being my second round pick, there's just one of those guys. But there's a few guys in here that at the end of their season could kind of dictate on how I decide this, since I had to pick it in January instead of after free agency or anything. But so how that goes. Team this week. I think last week hurts, but I had to put that away and just say that if my guys perform like they should, I should get the win.
You should.
Going against
but it could be like last week, so who knows? Now, looking at Ben's team, though, that's the part is you got Mahomes who can go for 50 any given night if he chooses to. And then we've seen with the Giants team really coming together. Wayne Gallman was a beast last week against the Seahawks. So,
yeah. All true. I think why I say I'm confident in this game is he's got absolutely nothing going at wide receiver right now.
That is true. He's got a Jets player.
Going to be play dependent. I mean, Perryman against Seattle, their defense has been hesitantly playing better, but there might be a big play for Perryman in there, so that kind of makes sense. Aguilar, you're relying on the up and down Derek Carr against a very good Colts defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some good running back options.
He made that trade with Aaron Hernandez for James Conner right at the deadline.
RB2s and only 3 running back spots to play him in. All of the concerns that we had with this team at the beginning of the season are materializing now. We're all like, he's going with David Johnson and Todd Gurley as his running backs. Doesn't he know how hurt they get?
Yeah.
And now it's like it's materializing. It's coming to haunt him now.
And he really is getting haunted by Will Fuller deciding now of all the times to be sniffing up some stuff. So
I saw this on Twitter. It's like Will Fuller playing Uno. It's like pick up 25 cards or play 16 games in a season, and he'll pick up the 25 cards because he just does not want to play a whole season. And that was part of one of the reasons he fell down so damn far is because everyone didn't want that guy that was going to be injured all the time.
And it hurt because he was having a good year until that suspension, and that had to hit that, and then me trading for Ridley, that hurt him. But hey.
Are you looking at the roster right now that he's got?
Yeah.
If this was your roster, I don't think you would let this be your roster. You would make some other moves, but if this was your roster, would you keep Will Fuller? Uncertainty there.
As a keeper?
Yeah. Would you keep?
I would not. And here's why. As Stephen A. Smith always says, here is why. Because Will Fuller is a free agent in this coming off season. And after that suspension, it's going to be hard for a team to just jump to sign him. So he will get signed, I believe that, but I think he'll be signed much later than everyone else. because that suspension will carry over for, I think, 1 or 2 games in the next season. So he'll have to sit out with whatever team ends up signing him.
Yep, that's exactly the point. And then it's like you don't know the Texans are going to try to bring in somebody. You never know what the Texans are going to do.
Yeah, but hey, Billy O'Brien is gone, so their nightmares can start to end. But definitely, it'll be interesting his keepers because he's obviously Mahomes, and then I think James Conner, just because of the trade negotiation talks we had.
For Conner, you're keeping him. Gurley was maybe considered for a while, but you're starting to see the issues, and he's on a 1 year.
That's why I skipped over Gurley in the draft because I knew he was going to be a bunch of injuries.
His third is going to be a statement. So we'll see how that goes.
I definitely agree with you, though. I think your team, as long as your team goes out there and even if they just hit their projections, they don't even have to beat their projections. I think you guys got it.
I just don't think his team. I think it's going to be a game where I go under and he goes under too. But which one is going to be the most here? And I think my team's ultimately got a higher ceiling. So if I got to predict something, it's going to be that. It's actually the widest margin between any team. If you scroll through all these win probabilities, I have the highest.
Yeah, this is and that segues into the next matchup, which is probably the second highest, which would be between High Tide Heroes versus Double Andreas.
It's the exact same one. Never mind.
Yeah, exact same, pretty much. So looking at Clint's team, though, I mean, Lamar Jackson looks like he started to be his former self running that ball against the Cowboys, but that's also the Cowboys, so don't know how to trust it. Got Chris Carson probably coming back healthy. So, the only concerns with his team is that Tyler Boyd with a backup quarterback and Amari Cooper with a backup quarterback and no offensive line.
Yeah, I think I actually quite like this team. Now Lamar Jackson's actually kind of moving the ball around. I think Cleveland's going to be a little wary of what he did last game. I don't think he'll do it again like he is. But I actually like this team that he's got set up this week. Cooper's and Boyd are quietly having decent seasons, and Keenan Allen as well. This team has been under the radar, and Jonathan Taylor, and I think Jonathan Taylor and Lamar Jackson kind of sunk his season early. But now it's kind of a late resurgence for his team, if you will. A little too late, though.
Just a little too late.
But maybe not, because our league is a consolation playoff. Maybe he can win all 3 of those and get his money back.
Hey, that's what matters.
Better than me at this point, still.
So, and then we got Andre. Andre has Kyler Murray's been not Kyler Murray the last few weeks, honestly. He's kind of taken a little step back. People are saying it's probably the shoulder he got hurt because he went from getting 25 to 30 points a game, and his last 3 games, 19, 7, and 15.
Yeah, I think a big part of that is that the rushing is going to Drake now, which can finally end Dylan's moaning about that. I wonder if it's making him reconsider what he was thinking about not keeping him.
Yeah, it makes all of us, question not trading for him our first-round draft picks.
Maybe should have gone with that 6th, but aside from the point. Anyway, looking back at, I guess we can talk about Kenyon Drake later, but looking at this, Kareem Hunt, I don't know if I like that as my running back 2 for the week, but this is, of course, the consolation bracket. So
having Chubb back definitely hurt his numbers.
It at the beginning it helped because he would go back to his pass catching duties, and that's what he's kind of good at. But he's actually getting the ball to the receivers now. Jarvis Landry has been huge. I bet Ben's kind of regretting that one big time. That might be part of the reason why he's playing the 5th, 6th bracket, because he didn't keep Jarvis Landry.
That's right. So I think
receivers now, which
for me, I think it's going to come down to the running backs versus receivers. And what I mean by that is if Clint's receivers, who I'm still iffy on, because you never know with a backup quarterback. They can have a good game, they can have a bad game. So that's where I'm iffy on for Clint. But if they can come out and beat their projections, then with Andre's team, if his running back duo, if they don't beat their projections, I think it'll definitely be Clint's team. But vice versa, if Andre's running backs beat their projections,
to how the Steelers throw the ball.
Yeah,
Dax, DeAndre Johnson, or is that his name?
Deontay.
Dang. Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool. He stacks them together. So it's going to come a lot to how the Steelers move the ball. Maybe he's going to try to throw a Chris Godwin or Antonio Brown in there. Who knows? He's also got, if he is actually paying attention, I don't know if he is or not. He's got Logan Thomas on his bench, and that could help kind of raise that differential, make it a little closer.
Maybe. Or he could be trusting in that Mitch magic, and he's got Jimmy Graham out there to get all the touchdown catches.
Right.
So, but yeah, I definitely, in my final prediction, I'm going to bold predict the upset here. And I'm going to go with Andre's team.
We're going to go Clint here.
You're going Clint. I'm going Andre. So that's
good. We finally disagree.
Yeah, a lot of last week was pretty straightforward, at least it seemed, but there was a lot of upsets.
Yeah, don't talk about it.
All right, well, moving on, we got Team Tank with Colton versus Green Eggs and Hamler, Jake's team of mediocre. Like, they've hit that middle of the road, 6-6 during the regular season, and they're just like, nothing jumps out on them.
I gotta imagine Jake's team. Dylan might contest that it's him here, but I gotta imagine that Jake's team is probably the biggest disappointment of the year.
It really is.
Trading the house to go get DeAndre Hopkins and make sure you can go and win the league this year, and you don't even make the playoffs with having that extra player there. That hurts. And then you trade who's actually doing pretty good.
I feel bad because the dude started the season off like we were all like, all right, this is a solid team, because he also remember he started with Corey Sutton before he got hurt, and then he went out and got Mike Davis with Christian McCaffrey's injury, which was a smart move. But then it's like almost as soon as he did that, Austin Eckler went out. So it's just like he could not get the full team until now onto the field.
Yeah, I think part of the reason that Andre is playing in that other game instead of Jake is that Clyde Edwards-Helaire just posted a dud last week.
Oh, yeah. That was ugly. But, the entire Chiefs team got stomped by, even though they still won, like Denver, who should have not even been close to that game.
No.
They put up a fight and just shut down that run game for Kansas.
The Chiefs are kind of like the masters of being like, oh, you almost had it.
You almost had it. You tried. Yeah, definitely.
Really good at being like wiggling it right before the other team's face and then just yanking it away in the last second. That's kind of
the thing I think that hurt Jake the most though last week was definitely Russell Wilson. This is a guy that was supposed to be MVP running champion going against a NFC least team, and he got shut down by the Giants.
Yeah, that was definitely, if he's also like the little Chris Collinsworth. Now, this is a guy that nice person.
Basically. But
yeah, pretty much his whole team has been underperforming for a good part of the entire season. I don't know what happened to Eckler last week. You'd think if they needed to pass the ball, you get a lot of if they had to pass all 4 quarters, you get a lot of receiving depth being that top option
Well, probably because Herbert just
Herbert
wasn't
couldn't
able
do
to pass last week.
sore subject. But yeah, and the win probability is scooting up ever so slightly for Jake because we got an in-game player for Colton right now.
You definitely. But
Uh,
going on Team Tank, this is the team I want to win it all in the consolation bracket. Like I
I think
posted in the chat.
that they're the favorite to do it, and the question's got to be asked: why are you starting Josh Reynolds as your wide receiver 2 when you got Kiki Cutie out on the free agent market?
You know, that's an excellent question. But you could also like, there's people on his bench that I'd be like, you could put them in, like move Brandon Ayuk to that receiver spot.
To see if anyone goes and picks him up, because it doesn't do me any good to go and pick him up.
Yeah, definitely. But
is that someone has not done that yet, and I was thinking it could be him or Aaron that went out and did it, but
it'll
neither.
be interesting though, because see, Colton needs Ryan Tannehill, I think, to have a bounce back game. And you also will probably need, well, fix that receiver spot. If those two things happen,
They're playing right now.
yeah, so
he's doomed.
it's too late now. But hey, who knows? Josh, he could be outsmarting all of us.
I think he needs a big revenge game for Jamal Adams against the Jets.
Hey, that's
for the Seahawks.
We know how bad the Jets are, and we know how good Jamal Adams is. So I would not be surprised.
No, this one could go either way with how Jake's team has been playing this season, but I think I want to say that Jake's got it.
Well, you already know I'm going to stick with my boy Colton just because it makes me happy to see Team Tank winning.
Sorry, Colton.
So, sorry, Jake. I got to stick with,
I'm not the homie against Colton, but I think Jake's got it.
All right. Well, we'll see. We disagreed on 2 of them tonight, so one of us is going to be winning more of this. All right, last matchup. So we got I Hate Aaron Rodgers versus Nowhere Bye Week. And I will say this, Dylan's team scored more points than I thought last week. I was feeling pretty good at Sunday afternoon because I said they would lose by 20, and they was down. He was projected to lose by more than 20 mid-afternoon Sunday, and I was like, all right, bold predict is going to be right. But then Justin Jefferson had a day, and I was like, dang it. Yeah, so that's the thing with his team, and we've said it in the chat. His team is like a solid team on paper. It's just they don't perform every week.
Yeah, it doesn't help that Justin Jefferson came in and made this team better. So it looks like it looks like a really unlucky season, but it's just DJ Moore and Justin Jefferson waited the entire season, and Kenyon Drake waited the entire season to play good.
Yeah, and I think it didn't help that, the man that he started with Drew Brees, and he's like, all right, well, Drew Brees is having an off year. Let me go get Joe Burrow in. Joe Burrow gets hurt.
And Dylan and I worked that trade. We essentially did. He wanted to do a 2-for-2, but really he almost straight up traded me McLaurin for Crowder, and then that's what I almost was gonna do a 1-on-1 at that, and then we put in Jonnu for Lazard. But
interesting.
But if you look at the straight up McLaurin for Crowder swap, that's got to be like the worst trade of the season.
That would have been, that one's rough. He really did not like the Washington football team, and it hurt him. I was like, with the Jets, which is not much better. But I definitely think this is probably going. See, it hurts me because like I'm just so used to picking against Dylan, but I gotta give him the credit this week. I think he's going to take it because you look at Aaron Rodgers' team, which again, I hate Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers. You can't say that. That hurts me. But I mean, Tom Brady, he's kind of been struggling a bit. They haven't been running the ball. They've been saying, Tom, throw it 40 times, and it's not working out.
I think Dylan's going to win this one, and here's why.
Go.
Marvin Jones, I think, is going to get shut out Sunday.
Ooh, bold predict.
And I finally think that DeAndre Swift is going to play. So therefore,
all right.
Johnson is not going to get a lot of points. So therefore, by default, I think Dylan's going to win this.
Interesting. Yeah, this is a bold predict. I'm going with Dylan. I'm not going to be as bold to say that, you know, Jones and Johnson will be like held to minimal or no point.
I think most of that volume's going to your boy Hawkinson this week, so you should be happy.
I'm happy about that. Yes, thank you. But man, that's a bold predict. But we both made one tonight, so very, very good. All right, so that has been this week's episode. Got bold predicts. Looking forward to next week. I'll see you guys when I'm in the championship. Hopefully this ages well, because otherwise I'll have to eat crow next week, and not looking forward to that.
And I will be playing the same person next week, because that's how this works.
Wait, you don't play the person, like you don't play for fourth place, maybe?
Maybe. I think it's a fourth and third, so I think I'm just going to be straight up playing Ben for 2 weeks.
Hey, you know, get a revenge game in there. I don't.
Money, you know?
So, all right.